Good news, Internet! Well, I guess depending how you take it. It is I, the Master Reviewer, and I'm back with Let's Play WWF Betrayal Part 2. This is not a live commentary. In fact, I don't even remember if the last one was live. I filmed this, or well, recorded the gameplay from an emulator around the exact same time I did Part 1. I've been saving this for a rainy day when I had not put out any videos recently, and it's been about a month since I've done my last video. So it's about time to put this one out. I figured, well, that and I could do a commentary talking about what I've been up to. So I started a new job fairly recently, working as a minor league baseball cameraman, and I have to say, it's been what it is, baseball. Not a big fan of it, so I hope you don't get too mad about that. That said, it does pay well, and one of the great perks I got this week was last night I got to go to Raw at the New Orleans Arena. And overall, I have to say, if you followed me on Twitter, @MasterViewer, that it was a decent enough show. I was really worried that, knowing Raw, it seems to be hit or miss to me. Sometimes I'll really enjoy a show, and other times, you know, it's Raw. I don't like to talk very much about wrestling on my main program because, well, it's not what I'm into, and I've talked about this before, and I have other friends who watch my show and who aren't into wrestling. So please bear with me as I briefly talk about this Monday night's Raw at the New Orleans Arena, where I attended for free. I think if I paid, I would have been pleased with the overall show. It certainly sure as hell was better than John Cena writing JBL is poopy on a limo. My favorite highlights of the show were seeing Dean Ambrose in a dark match and CM Punk Daniel Bryan. I'm gonna briefly talk about Dean Ambrose first. He's pretty damn good. I'm not one of these guys who sit on the internet all day, look up Ring of Honor and every sort of indie match. I occasionally watch indie stuff, but not very often. Now I just don't have the time or real vested interest in doing everything. But I have to say, Dean Ambrose might be the kind of guy the WWE loves. The guy can talk and really go in the ring. His match with Tyson Kidd was 4 minutes, and it was really good for 4 minutes. And I hope I'm not overhyping him, but I enjoyed the hell out of his pre-match promo. He could talk better than half the guys on the roster already, and that is a godsend in today's WWE, I feel. The only other thing I'm going to talk about Raw this week is the CM Punk Daniel Bryan match. I have to say, had I bought a ticket, I would have gotten my price of admission, because that was a fantastic television match, and I wish and hope the WWE continues to put these guys in matches. But then again, I would just sound like any other internet fan and just cream over everything they do. And I am so glad and was so worried when they announced it that Kane would run in after 2 or 3 minutes. But I'm glad they waited to the end, and I'm glad to have seen those guys perform live. Oh, yeah, we also got to see Lord Tensai in 2 matches. He squashed Alex Riley on Superstars and appeared in the dark match with Big Johnny and The Big Show against Cena. Surprise who wins that one, right? But now what you're really waiting for, an update on future episodes of my show. 2 episodes are coming soon, hopefully. I know I've been using soon for a while now, even when I described when the general manager, or anonymous producer I mean, is coming to my show, but honestly, it's soon. I have 2 episodes worked on, Bending the Rules and the Avengers XXX porno parody from Axel Braun. Both are something. One is good, the other is horrendous. I'm sure you know which is which. Well, I'm gonna talk a little about each movie right now, so I have something to fill this commentary up. Warning, these do contain spoilers, as will my reviews, obviously. But don't worry, I'll talk more in depth about each in the said videos. Starting with Bending the Rules, Edge plays a New Orleans cop, and honestly, it's a pretty good movie that I would check out. It does have a bit of a mystery to it, but in the end, you're like, oh, well that was fun, I didn't waste 2 hours, and it's got enough decent action. My only real issue with it was I'm not sure why it was set in New Orleans, but more on that later. Now for XXX's Avengers porno parody. If you really want to see China fuck Thor while she's wearing green makeup and dressed up as She-Hulk, then yeah, that's the kind of thing you're in for. The parody itself is not very funny, and honestly, it's kind of blah if I remember right. It's about 10 minutes of the entire movie, and it's not much of a parody because they didn't know what to do. Because, well, the actual Avengers porno came out before the movie, so it doesn't really spoof the movie, but more of the comics. However, at least Hawkeye's got his correct costume. But I don't know much about the Avengers, admit. I'm not that big of a comic book fan. Most of my comic book knowledge comes from either video games with comic book characters, movies, or animated series. Occasionally, I get in depth with it and look at their wikis, but I don't read comic books, so you'll have to excuse any ignorance I may have towards the Avengers in the upcoming review. Apparently, I died in this recording of my Let's Play, but really, this game's not that hard. A 5-year-old could probably beat it in one sitting. I don't know why I had so much trouble with it. But upcoming after the Avengers and after bending the rules is a special treat from Turkey, an exploitation film that I can't wait to talk about. It's called Turkish Spider-Man or 3-Dev Adam, and you're thinking to yourself, what connection to wrestling can this possibly have? Well, it's a bit of a stretch, but I must say, honestly none, except that one of the characters in the film is El Santo. And I say characters because it's not really El Santo playing it. In the movie, you have Turkish Spider-Man, who's a serial rapist / mafia boss with a knife, fighting against Captain America and El Santo. I can't wait to talk about it because it's as awesome as it sounds. Well, that about wraps up what I have to say for this week, or this episode / vlog, I don't know. So, just watch the rest of this Let's Play as you can watch The Rock beat down some jabronis with a wrench on the subway.